Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.
Kenny, good to chat with you again. Can I start on the injuries front? First and foremost, how is Billy Clark and Callum Cook?
Well, Billy Clark was out this morning working with a physio, so it was good to see him outside. And Cookie was inside, so one outside, one inside. Probably, I would imagine Saturday would be a little bit too early, certainly for Cookie. But it was good to see Curtis Guthrie, Billy Clark, and Bryce Hosanna. These three lads were outside working today, with Lee Novak and Callum Cook indoors.
Some positive news on, firstly, Curtis Guthrie. We have not heard his name for a little while. Is he progressing well then on his rehabilitation?
Yes, his rehab's going well, and we're happy how that's going. I think it's no secret every club would like to have a full quota of players to choose from, and we certainly have missed these lads just to give us that bit of competition. You know, we've had to kind of go with 3 or 4 players short every week for the last few weeks, so it's important that we get these lads back as quickly as possible.
Zelie Ishmael and Gareth Evans, 2 players that I know Stuart has mentioned previously that are very well likely to feature on Saturday. All being well, are they expected to be available for you?
We'd be very disappointed if they weren't involved. I've got to be honest with you. They've both came back in the fold over the last week to 10 days and trained well, you know. And Gareth, I've been on record saying that he's an important player for us, as is Zelie. Both have different attributes, and we're looking forward to having them both involved on Saturday.
Gareth in particular, we haven't really seen all that much since his return to the football club. I don't want to say this in a general statement, but is it almost like having a new signing available to you again?
Yeah, that gets flagged up a few times, that one, the new signing. But no, he's important for us. I mean, he's got great experience, and his time at Portsmouth as well. I mean, he was a really important player for them, and I think he'll be as frustrated as anyone that he's not got off to the greatest of starts, only because of the injury. It's kind of hampered them a little bit. So as I say, it's good to have him back.
And fits into the system that you're sticking with now as well, and that I would assume is something you'll continue to use going into Saturday.
Yes, I mean, Gareth's quite flexible that he can use on the 2 or 3 positions, but certainly the way we are going to play or hoping to play, he ticks the boxes in the right areas, and he's a quality player, you know. And I think it's important that we get these lads on the pitch as often and as quickly as possible.
How big a bonus is it then when we've been talking about the injury list and players coming back and having as many players available to you as possible in a squad, that you've now got the opportunity to make 5 substitutions? How much does that influence the way that you tactically set up the game plan?
Well, we always take a great deal of care with the lads who are going to occupy the bench, and as I say, the attributes that they bring to that particular game. So it certainly gives us something. And I think it's something that, you know, each club will be happy with. You know, obviously the teams with the bigger squads will be more happy than others. But I think just with the pre-season was kind of crammed in a little bit, and we've had loads of games recently. So I think it does help or hopefully will help the fact for the players injury-wise, and the prevention of injury, shall we say. So it's certainly something that we've been really positive with.
Yeah, do you think it was needed, really?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think it was, just because of the situation that we find ourselves in just now. I think it will certainly loosen the strain for the physio door, and people collecting aches and pains and knocks just through soft muscle injuries, you know.
It's a little way ahead yet, but how much does that influence at all your tactics in the transfer window for January? Do you have to factor that into consideration, given that for the second half of the season you'll be able to make more changes to your squad?
Well, I'm sure that Stuart's had conversations with the hierarchy at the club, and you know, and glossed over that situation. But it's certainly welcome news for us at this moment in time, and it's something we will probably look at, you know, coming into the December months leading up to the transfer window, as you say, in January.
How nice has it been just to have a week with the players and not have a midweek game in between, to actually spend some time with them?
Well, it's been great. I think we've benefited from that. I think this week, the fact that we've had Tuesday, Saturday for a number of weeks now. Even with the EFL Trophy. So I think it's been good this week that we've had a chance to take our foot off the pedal a little bit with certain players. But we know that we're just round the corner again from another game on Saturday. We're a full midweek fixture list.
Having more time, what opportunities does it present to you as the coaching staff towards the players? Does it give you more time to be able to discuss tactics, to look back at videos, to reflect on games? What does it enable you to do?
All of these things that you've just mentioned, that enables you to spend a bit more time than you would, certainly with the tactics and looking at the video analysis from the previous game and for the forthcoming opponents. When you do have Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, you still want to get it done, but you can go into it with more greater depth. I think the fact we've had the injured players as well, the lads who are just coming back from injury, it gives us the opportunity of looking after them a little bit. But we know, as I say, just round the corner there's another load of fixtures coming up for midweeks.
Having chance to have looked back on the Exeter game, then what did you learn about your performance, and what did you learn in that game that you can take moving forward, Kenny?
Well, we knew it was a very open game. Probably looking back on it again, we did have opportunities, probably not as many good opportunities as they had, but I thought it was 90 minutes of open-end stuff. We attacked them, they attacked us, and they're a very good side. Over the last few years, they've been involved in the playoffs. They're in the playoff final last year, and I think it had all the ingredients of a really good game from start to finish. And we were disappointed with the goals that we conceded, but we could also, after they scored their second goal, very quickly, they could have been 3-1 in front. So we showed a bit of character, and I think us getting the goal bang on half time did help us as well. But I think it was, the second half, we had to go at them and they had to go at us.
I think it'd be fair to label them as promotion hopefuls, and to get a result like that against the side who, as you say, in the playoff finals last season, it must give you a great deal of belief as well in what you're doing, and you can take that into, again, what will be a side who will be pushing for those promotion spots.
Yeah, we come this Saturday against a side who, as you say, will have all the ingredients of another game against a team who we expect to be up there challenging for the, if not top three, but certainly the top seven. And I say there's a few teams that we've played already this season. Newport springs to mind, but it's a very, very competitive league, and you really have to be at it every single Saturday and Tuesday to try and get that consistency to keep yourself up the top half of the league table.
What will be your approach then? Do you go there in a conservative nature, or do you stick to your game plan? Do you try and keep on the front foot and play the attacking football that we've become so accustomed to seeing from the side in recent times?
Well, I think you want to, similar to Saturday, you want to go and try and have a go at them, whether you're home or away. There's bits and pieces in our game that we think that we can cause them problems, but we've also highlighted, factors in the way their team is set up, and they've got players that can hurt you, and they've got a decent squad assembled at Salford. Myself and Stuart went to watch them on Friday night at Bolton, and they've been disappointed probably, certainly with the second goal that they conceded, but certainly with the first goal as well. There was a couple of mistakes in there. They're a team that dominate the ball, or try to dominate the ball, so it's got all the makings for a game. But yeah, we'll go there and we'll give them every respect, but I think we've got to try and have a go at them as well, and try and cause them problems.
They'll be naturally disappointed with the result of that evening that you went to watch. How wary do you have to be that they'll be looking to come out and try and rectify that very, very quickly?
Well, you factor they're back at home again. Even their FA Cup tie that they got through against Hartlepool, but they dominated the ball, but got through in extra time. So I think with a new manager coming in, it takes time to get your game plan in place, shall we say, but every player's out to impress the new manager, so we're mindful of that. But as I say, we take to one side what we can hopefully bring to the table on Saturday.
Finally, Kenny, I just want to get your thoughts on one player in particular, Levi Sutton, who we've spoken to already today. He's back fit and available from his suspension as well. How big an opportunity is this for him as a player to maybe press the restart button and just, revitalise his Bradford City career?
Well, I use the word frustration as with Gareth Evans, and probably do the same with Levi. We had him at Scunthorpe. We knew all what he's got, what he brings to the team. Very, very committed. I wouldn't say he's a dirty player. I think he gets his tail into challenges that maybe a more experienced player would maybe take a little step back from. But very committed, and I think, as I say, when he's sending off at Barrow that afternoon, it was a difficult challenge that he put himself under a bit of pressure with that. But he knows, as I say, we've had, I think Stuart's had word with him anyway in regards to go into these challenges. Sometimes you've just got to call canny, as they say in Scotland, just to try and take a little step back and not be want him to be committed and be on that front foot. But he brings a lot of different things to your midfield area, and it's, as I say, it's good to have him back.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Go well Saturday.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Kenny, just going back to the 5 substitutes thing, is that a case now that because you can make more changes, that you'll be able to bring players who are almost ready to get back into the first 11 in, knowing that you can bring them off? You've got more chance to bring them off when they're getting tired after they come back from injury.
Well, that's one thing you look at with players coming back from injury, is to see they can do all the rehab with the medical team, but getting back into a game situation, you find out for the physio, for Chris and Dale, the sports science with Ben, how long do you think they're going to get, depending on the type of injury they've been out with. So certainly, yeah, if you're going to start a player, you'd maybe get an hour. Did they get 70 minutes? But yeah, certainly we're having that option of the 5 subs, even bringing someone into the squad to come off the bench maybe for 15, 20 minutes. It's a useful tool to have.
Of course, the other big talking point in football this week has been heading of the ball and the problems it's caused, but it seems through medical evidence with players in the past. With some of the suggestions that are coming forward, that's going to change the way clubs train. Is this something you're already looking towards at Bradford City, or is it you're waiting to see what happens?
Well, I think it's very much waiting to see what happens. It's been well documented over the last few months, years, about the concern, shall we say, for heading the ball. We keep preaching as well that it's something that I think it's a dying art in the game now. When crosses are coming into the box, players, modern day players, in my opinion, tend to go with their foot or any other part of the body apart from their head. But I do understand the concerns that everyone has with the research that's been done on that, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of the developments.
Cheers, Kenny. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
As you were saying, Kenny, about the substitutions, and obviously the clubs with the bigger squads, perhaps it will benefit more. I mean, presumably you could put someone like Salford in that category, couldn't you? Because obviously perhaps they've got more scope to bring players in.
Yeah, they've gathered a decent squad at Salford. I think there's a number of teams in League Two who'll be quite happy with these. I think we're happy with them also. I think with the fact with the injury concerns, with lads coming back, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, the teams at the top half of the table who do carry big squads will certainly have a slight benefit for that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and obviously, as I say, it's a good challenge playing Salford. Pre-season, they were the team being talked about. The bookies had them down. And Stuart was saying in the summer that Salford are probably the team to watch. I mean, it's quite an expectation to live with, though, isn't it? When you're sort of held up there from day one as the team, so to speak.
Well, the 2 teams at the start of the season everyone was talking about, or should we say the bookmakers, were Bolton and Salford. Now, I think there's going to be is it added pressure? I don't know. Bolton had that, and they've had a bit of an indifferent start, although they got a really good result on Friday. Salford are the same. They've got to live with that expectation, where the expectation level is Salford, and I'm sure for the people behind the scenes, we're looking to get promotion this year. So that comes there, as I say, with added pressure, and they've got to maintain a squad that can handle that.
And obviously they made the managerial change early. As a coach, that must have come as well. I think it came quite a surprise to everybody. But when you're in the game, you must be thinking that was pretty soon. Well,
it was a situation. I think they were in 5th position. I think when Graham left his post, you should never be surprised what happens in football. But it does turn up when you look at that. I mean, Graham had off to a decent start with being in 5th position, but the people that make the decisions at Salford are the ones that count, and obviously they've made that change now. And as I highlighted earlier, the players will all be busting a gut to try and impress the new manager and get themselves, the ones who haven't been playing, will be trying to force their way into the team.
And obviously, it's a great challenge yourselves, and also probably let's put a result right from last season, because I know that day was very frustrating, wasn't it, that game there?
Yeah, it was frustrating with a capital F, shall we say. It was a really disappointing performance that day when we lost at Salford, and we need to go and certainly take part in the game a lot more than we did that day. We need to compete, and certainly we've got the squad, I think, this year round to go and do that on Saturday. Fingers crossed.
And the belief you can take from last weekend, presumably against another team, who are currently on a great run, and you matched them, didn't you?
That's right. I was, happy watching the game back last week. Obviously, there were bits and pieces, with the goals that we conceded and the chances they created. But as you say, they're a very, very good side. After the game, they were complimentary about the way we played also. So that's what we need to do. The more of these performances we get, the better we'll be. And I'm sure we'll gather more points in playing the way we did on Saturday.
And it's about consistency this season, probably more than any other, isn't it? Because of the amount of games in the short period of time.
That's what we're looking to achieve. The consistency of gathering maybe 2 or 3 victories. You just look recently at what's happened at Scunthorpe. Looked down and out for a number of weeks, and all of a sudden they've had back-to-back wins, so it's given them 6 points. That's the type of thing we're looking to do, to try and get maybe a group of 3 or 4 games, win 2 or 3 or even 4 of them, and push yourself back up the league table.
Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.